How's it going?
It's good. It's good. It's busy. In the pandemic, everybody adopted, which is phenomenal. But that makes our job very busy right now.
There's a whole piece around kind of COVID adoptions, COVID dogs that I want to
Yep.
talk to you about because it's a real thing. We've definitely have we have an interest, but we haven't taken the plunge yet. So
Yeah.
let's
Even Chew. Go ahead. Sorry.
well let's kick off. I just want to do a quick intro. So this is Tori from Valhalla Dog Training. Um, Valhalla Dog Training has been part of the PocketSuite community since December of 2020. So you're super new, super excited to just hear what your experience has been and to really expose you to the community and to share your story. So thanks for making the time.
Absolutely. I've been excited about it all week.
So here's my first question. Valhalla. I was like obsessed with the show Vikings, and so I fashioned myself someone who knows a little something about the is it like the heaven of sort of the Viking here. Oh, there we go.
That's the absolute true. We're gonna move through.
Okay, worries.
There we go. So I knew our Wi-Fi
Okay.
can be iffy, so I thought I'd move
Oh, no
real
worries.
quick. So yeah, so that's the true definition of Valhalla, of course, is
Okay.
Viking heaven. It's heaven warriors, Viking warriors go to this heaven and everything. The way I kind of took it, we have a very heavy Swedish background, and we very much live into that. I have family in Sweden, and I dedicate my entire business to my aunt, who we lost to suicide. So the name is very much where I think she is. So
Yeah.
I wanted to, there's a long story to it. She's the one who pushed me to have my own business. So I dedicated it all to her.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, wow. So she's watching over it. You're helping to create puppy heaven for lots of families.
She is. I'm sent. Yeah, she's definitely in Valhalla in our eyes. So it was an easy choice for me.
Oh, that's amazing. I was always struck by just like the passion and just like the courage and all of that comes with, you know, the Viking tradition. So I was really impressed. It's so funny because you talk about your aunt, but also just recently you posted about somebody called Tom Davis and how he also helped inspire you to start the business. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so Tom Davis is a dog trainer from upstate New York. He kind of took off early on in the balanced dog training world, but he was very much a vision of a young, tattooed, you know, didn't go to college, didn't have that, but had a passion. And he took off. He has an academy, so he has a school. And yeah, someone bought me a gift of a sweatshirt of his company. And I mean, he reposted it. So I was pretty excited about that. I was a little like starstruck for a second.
Well, it's so funny because we talk about just two things. One is the fact that like most people when they're coming up are never told like this is something you can do when you grow up and make really good money and live a really great life. Like we're all sort of set down these like very narrow and like predictable paths. But when people wake up and they're like, I don't actually like my job. I don't actually like my life. Here's what I really love doing. And it's things like dog training. It's like pet sitting. It's all of these things that, you know, aren't really promoted when you're coming up.
Absolutely. I will fully admit, you know, in my life when it was said I want to be, you know, a dog trainer, people are like, you know, that's.
Uh-oh, looks like it's spinning again. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Gotcha.
So it was not at all something that anybody they wanted me to do it. They didn't think it was a moneymaker. And it's a moneymaker. It's not, you know, making it in the dog training industry to me is 100K, which is plenty enough for
It's
me.
huge. Yeah.
Huge. And
Yeah.
I've seen that just on PocketSuite with the comparisons of the companies, which kind of opened my eyes that this is being done in all other places and they're succeeding and it's going really well.
I'm so glad you said that. So one of the things we say is that like, if you're at 100,000 a year, you're within the top 20% of earners around the country, right? Like you're so, and you can absolutely get there within dog training. They're really good numbers. So very excited about that. I'm glad you're watching the leaderboard in PocketSuite because that's definitely, people say it's a motivator.
Oh, and the message you sent, I mean, saying that I, you know, opened a leadership. I mean, that's huge. That's exciting. It's, you know, for the place that's helping you do everything to cheer you on like that was huge.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. More where that came from. So Tori, you do a really good job of posting videos of your work. Like you're, you know, like I went through them and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even have a pet, but like I get it. And I feel like you could help me get it. Right. So the videos are really clear. They're very crisp. They're to the point. And they're kind of like, wow, they distinguish you. How, like, there are a lot of pros who want to add video to social, but like don't have the time, sometimes don't have the know-how. In other cases, just don't have the resources to do it. Are you just like amazing multitasker, able to do the service and video it and do all of this stuff? Because that's super impressive.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, I get caught for staying up late and working on my iPad. I mean, I'll fully say, you know, especially to anybody watching, I run my entire business off my iPad. It's perfect. So I can go from editing a video to opening up PocketSuite to back to the video. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And I'm a perfectionist in that sense. So, you know, I'm editing till midnight, making sure that it's perfect. But you're right. I want it to be, you only have a minute and you know that you can lose people's attention before a minute's up. So you got to get in what you can get in within 30 to 45 seconds. And it takes time when you have an hour-long video to edit.
Do you get like good feedback from clients on those videos? Because for me, it's like if that was for my dog, I'd be like sharing with my friends and family, like, oh, look at how great, you know, Spot is doing now.
Yeah, for that reason and for references from other clients. So, you know, if we're working on a command that I've posted, I'll have them refer to that because I try and be very descriptive in the videos so they can understand, okay, this is what this command was meaning. And yeah, I mean, people love to see their dog on social media. So I love to try and I'm big on pictures. So when a new dog enters our program, I'm sure to post a picture of them up.
We actually have one dog trainer who has like a totally separate account for her dogs, which has like lots, like tens of thousands of followers. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So Tori, you know, when you were just getting started with the business, we love to share these kind of early stories because I think it's very easy for people to see the sort of glamour and the glory, but it's a lot harder for folks to understand what it takes to get there. Can you share a little bit about like, gosh, this is what it took for me to like, to do what I'm doing right now. And, you know, and here's kind of where I had to, you know, push to really, you know, sort of come up and to, you know, keep going.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny you say that too, because I just posted today, it was our year anniversary that we got our LLC. But this has been 10 years in the making. Slowly but surely, I started apprenticing and doing kind of all the knowledge part of dog training. And, you know, it's always in the back of my head, you know, I want to be my own boss. I want to open a dog training company. But honestly, I never thought it would happen as fast as it did. It was definitely, you know, nobody really wanted to quit their full-time job with benefits during a pandemic. And I was the first one to say, I'm out, I'm ready. Wow. It was kind of like you said, with the influx of adoptions and dogs, I just felt like it's now or never. And if I fail, then I get a job and I get money again. But there was no time than now. So it honestly took me just going for the jump. It took some preparing. I'm definitely known for going and figuring it out later rather than figuring it out and going for it. But
just do it. Yeah.
I think that's what helped me finally make that jump. Because I feel like if I was the opposite, logics would tell you not to quit your job.
Yeah. No, that's what they say. They say the best companies are formed by folks who don't know what they're getting into. Because if you really did, right, it's like parenthood, right? If you really knew what you're getting into, you'd be like, let's think about this a little bit.
Absolutely.
So if you were to kind of share one or two, like, hey, if you're going to get into this, here are one or two things that you should do to get prepared before you make the leap, what would those things be?
So one of the biggest ones was before I made the jump and getting some of the planning, I was bartending part-time. So I still had that little backup, but it gave me the opportunity to work 3 days in a row, you know, make all the money I needed to in those days. And then Monday through Friday was doing the dog training business.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I had, you know, my industry is a little, you know, balanced with that where I can, you know, do that. I know a lot of industries you can't, but the best advice I would say is for me, as long as I knew I could cover my bills and I knew that enough of me leaving the bar job could handle it, then I was ready. You know, I'm all for taking the jump, you know, as long as you don't set yourself back.
Right. Right. So you've mentioned a couple times about this sort of COVID trend, and I have lots of friends who've adopted and are super excited. Can you share with me, are there any concerns that are being raised as a result of this influx of folks who may not have otherwise
absolutely
decided to become pet parents?
There is a lot of them.
What are the concerns, and how are we getting in front of kind of addressing them so we don't see huge influx of folks back in shelters, dogs back in shelters, and things calm down?
That's a great question, because I think not a lot of people are asking that because they're unsure of when things go back to normal. But the first thing I can say is there has been an influx of separation anxiety. So, you know, the new normal is being home with your dog almost 24/7. And I think when some people's lives have started to go back, and slowly but surely I'm getting calls of, I've been home for 3 months, now I'm not, my dog is doing this, this, and this. So I'm big on positive separation. So even creating your dog when you're home or having them in another room while you're home, it creates, your dog should not be upset away from you. They should be able to be composed, be together. And I think if you flipped the reverse, I know people are upset when they're not near their dog, but what they're showing us is that they can't function without you there. So we really want to practice positive separation, creating increments, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time. You know, go out for an hour, come back. Even if you walk around the block, come back, let them out of the crate. Because when you go back to normal and they go in the crate for 8 hours, for people who work, they're not going to be able to handle it.
How do you help folks through this? Do you do the board and train model? Are you on site with them? Or is it virtual? What's the mix of services you provide?
Great question. So we're working towards a board and train. So why my Wi-Fi was acting up, we just moved.
Okay.
So we moved right into Philly.
Yay!
Yeah, we got a bigger spot. Yeah, we're very happy about it. There's a lot of work though. So I'm getting the basement prepared for board and trains, but I'm traveling. So I'm, in homes, meaning we're doing it outside.
Okay.
So we're doing it on their property, in parking lots, in public parks, fully masked, which is, you know, the COVID disclosure in PocketSuite has also been awesome. You know, so it's not just saying, yes, I'm not sick, you're signing it. Big difference. Yeah. So I am in homes, but, you know, we're taking all the necessary precautions, but I am traveling. So I'm on the move 24/7 almost.
You know, we love to ask this question to dog trainers because it's always, again, I feel like it confounds expectation, but who's easier to work with, the dogs or the dog parents?
You asked the inevitable question. So humans humanize. So, you know, when a dog cries in a crate, they want to go let him out, and trying to convince them not to, it can be hard. And getting people, the whole basis of my training is to think like a dog. And sometimes getting people, you know, we can think consciously, we can make conscious decisions, they make snap decisions. So trying to get people to understand that, you know, we know why they did that, but, you know, we have to teach them why they are making these decisions instead of just assuming they know things. So yeah, I can train a dog pretty easy. I'm working on training some people.
Very diplomatic. Love it.
Keeping it PG, but yeah.
So if are there resources, certification programs, you know, books, any kind of resources where you're like, these are gold. If you're looking at this, you should really check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're balance trainers. So we, you know, certifications, I'll fully admit it's a very unregistered industry. Which is good and bad. Right. There's very good parts to that, but you obviously have negative sides to that. I would say whatever style of training that you're into, making sure you're, like, again, watching the videos, making sure you're understanding. The biggest thing about training is you want to understand what you're doing with the dog. So, you know, first and foremost, I would say Michael Ellis. So anything Michael Ellis based, he has some educational videos. He has Lieberg. He has, so they have video, you know, you can pay for a program to learn. Yeah. Okay. He has a school, but, you know, obviously they're pretty much doing virtual now, fully. So that would be my first bet. But if you're looking for information just as a person with a dog, I would go on YouTube and find the style of training you're into.
So this is really controversial, and PocketSuite, we've sort of had our fair share of feedback on this, but the different styles really evoke lots of emotion from trainers. So from the positive, you know, training to the like lots of emotions, and it doesn't feel like there's a right or wrong. It just feels like there's like a philosophical divide depending on where people's heads are at. But how did you choose the style that was right for you? And how do other people navigate? Because there's, you know, from the, Ian Dunbar to the, you know, who's the famous gentleman who was on television for a long time?
Cesar Millan.
Cesar Millan. To, you know, there's so much controversy. So how did you choose? And then how should you, like, what mindset would you advise others to use when they're choosing?
That's honestly a great question. And you're right. It's worse than political parties between exactly. The styles of training.
Yes.
It really is. It's, yes. And social media has definitely widened that. So I would say that I have a very diverse background. I've been in the dog world for over 10 years. Kind of got the start, as most people do, in daycares and boarding facilities. Then I graduated to, being an evaluator at a daycare, to running a rescue for a little bit, whereas kind of that's where I got, I ran a rescue for a company, but that's where you kind of learned the different types of training. And I started positive only. Positive only works. It works for a select amount of dogs, but in the rescue world and in the traumatization and backgrounds, there's kind of this understanding that you can't communicate with a dog when they're in that state. So I think the biggest misconception I would say about balance training is that we use these tools to punish, and we're, trying to get the dog to submit to us. And, it couldn't be farthest from the truth, which is why I'm big on virtual consultations. For anyone who's interested in training with me, we have an hour-long consultation. We discuss all of these things. So, I have a medical background as well in the dog industry. I was a vet tech for a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
And I'm going for my animal science degree in behavior.
Nice.
So yeah, so I have a little bit of background, and it's not just kind of things I've read off the internet. So we kind of debunk the Pavlov theory a little bit. So the classical conditioning, Pavlov,
Right.
bell to food. So he states a lot in his studies that outside environment issues distracted the dogs from the bell. So they weren't able to hear the bell because of everything going on around them. So we use the e-collar like a cell phone. We communicate with the dog to look in our direction. We talk to it. And then trust me, we're rewarding just as much as positive. We are just saying, I want you to do the work first. I'll pay you after, instead of, in our eyes, bribing. But like I said, positive only works for a good amount of dogs. But if you have, severe dog reactivity, human reactivity, all of kind of those issues that go under behavior modification, kind of hard to communicate with a dog when they're in that state.
Okay. That's really helpful. That's one of the best explanations I've heard of, like, hey, you know what? If you can do it, do it. And if the dog needs more, you may need to tap into some other things. So
absolutely. I'll always start positive.
You'll always start positive.
We go from there.
You alluded to the fact that you're building out your location for board and train. As you look out into the future, what is, like, how are you defining success? Like, we've arrived. This is kind of what my vision is going forward.
Great question. Every day I look at warehouses. So I'm looking for eventually a large warehouse property. So with all of that other training, I'm big into scent training. And agility training.
Okay.
So if people know the show Top Dog on A&E,
I've heard.
It's a really fun. Now most of those are police dogs and fully trained dogs, but in our facility we're big on rescue. So I'm a diehard rescue advocate till the end. And we want to show that your dog may not be on Top Dog to do agility, but there's no reason they can't have fun learning at the same time, but doing these courses and, like scent training. You don't have to be sniffing drugs to have fun and learn some different ways to stimulate your dog.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So we're almost at time here. Share, since you're new, if you could share one or two, experiences that you've had with PocketSuite that have made an impression on you for folks who are learning more about who we are and our community.
I mean, I have a million, but if I had to knock it down, I would say first and foremost, I'm really good at dog training. Office work, not so well. I'm always moving, like even standing here, my hands are moving. So sitting down is hard for me. So the fact that, and a tap of a button, I can send a pre-automated message to somebody. Invoices are definitely the main thing. I'm so diehard in my training that I forget that people are to pay me. So the subscription payments have been literally game changing. I didn't know how much was coming in until I have it on a set schedule. And I've been told I'm a little bit of a pushover when it comes to, going after people and to pay me. And this does it for me. I mean,
that's awesome.
It's preset. They take it as it goes. And then the conferences, being able to have a link preset. I don't have to pay for Zoom. I don't have to use Google Meet with terrible connection. It's literally all in my hand. Like, everything I need from invoice scheduling, communication, numbers. Before it, I had a scheduling app. I had a Google number. I had a questionnaire website.
Wow.
So now it's all in one. And literally, I walk around saying, this app changed my life. And my boyfriend's like, yes, I know. You said it 5 times.
I love to hear that. He's like, I thought I changed your life.
Yeah, he's like, I know, we love PocketSuite. And I'm like, I know, but look.
Love it. Tori, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the PocketSuite community. Keep doing what you're doing. Let us know how else we can support you. We're going to share your story far and wide.
Thank you. I can't wait. I'm going to do the same with you guys.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.